Hey, what's up? We are playing Final Girl Season 3, and it is time that we played the Falconwood Files. This is a really cool addition to the feature film box sets that come with Final Girl. We are going to be playing against a creature called the Slayer. It's kind of a lich who comes from a very upside down world known as the Mirror Dimension. And his opponent is Janelle here, who is a seemingly ordinary teenage kid who happens to get access to some psychic powers that can open a rift to that dimension by use of a card included with this called the Open a Rift card. The town location is Falconwood. And Falconwood is, like a little Indiana town that just happens to have a government lab setting up shop, and some strange goings on there. There are new mechanics added to this particular scenario, including the idea of friend characters, which are sort of like special victims that will follow you around, and the idea of missions. There are several missions that you can randomly select or opt to choose. We randomly pulled the missing friend. So there is a friend that we need to find, and that will happen because there will be clues placed at these various locations for us to pick up and try to narrow down where we think they are. Okay, so let's go and take a look here at what our starting event and items will be. Our starting event is going to be there's a dry spell. So there are river crossings in these locations. We have bridges, which anyone can take. And then we have these river crossings that only I can take. But it sounds like they are not going to be accessible if it rains, and we will discard this card. All right, hope I'm getting the rules on that correct. I may need to take a look. Okay, as far as items go, every location has 4 items. The first one is revealed. We've got a pool noodle, which can help us use river crossings. We have a first aid kit, which is pretty standard, kind of dull, and a wooden bat. All right, so we will put those at the top 3 locations here. Excuse me. We have the shopping mall, we have the police station, and we have the government lab. I don't know why there's a pool noodle at the government lab. It must be part of an experiment. Actually, I think there is probably it's probably for the sensory deprivation tank. We're also starting with this setup card, Back to School. So we are now going to be working to make the board look like this as much as possible. So let's see. Take a minute to do that. Okay. Our final girl is going to be starting the game right here. I would lay them down, but it doesn't work too well for this particular map, so I think I need to stand them up. We'll leave the victims laid down. Okay, it says it's back to school time, so we've got kids at the library, we've got kids at the school. Pretty self-explanatory. All right. I think we're ready to get started, but there is one more thing. I'm going to try out the Final Girl app for the first time, which will really, it's really mostly just a tracker of, how many victims and how many kills, how many victims are saved and how many people are killed. We're doing the missing friend mission. We are doing the back to school scenario. We're going to start. And so like I say, this is just going to be a bit of a tracker. And this is to kind of help put you through your phases and count your turns. which can be useful in this game, especially if you put it down and pick it up, as I sometimes do. You kind of can get lost. But I think what it's really for is if you play a lot, it will kind of record your statistics and tell you if you won or lost, how many turns it took, etc. Okay, we're not going to teach how to play Final Girl, but for anyone who's not super familiar, the basic concept is that every turn, I have a handful of things that I can do, and each of these things will literally take time. And when they do take time, we count that here on this outer ring, how much time we have to spend. We start with 6 minutes worth of time every turn, so you could argue that, yeah, in this game, a turn takes 6 minutes. We will spend cards from our hand, then we will go into a planning phase where we can decide on purchasing new cards for our next turn. So we can kind of plan ahead what we're going to be doing. These cards will cost time to purchase. And the way we accomplish things is by trying to successfully roll on the dice. Nothing is guaranteed in Final Girl. Everything has a certain element of chance. So we're trying to just focus up here. Let's get focused. Our result there is a partial success. I actually have to discard 2 cards according to that little icon there to make this a success, which is the star symbol. So with a success, we have a hockey mask and we have a timer, and what that does is show us that the timer is 1 minute. It takes 1 minute to lower the horror track. The lower this is, the more dice I can roll on my attempts. The higher it is, not only can I roll less dice, but when it gets really high, the bloodlust of our killer will get more and more intense, and they can do more and more nasty things. So I'm going to try to focus again. And that time we got 2 successes right off the bat. So same thing happens, only we actually gain 2 time instead of losing it. All right, and now we're going to try to walk. Let's talk about what we think our strategy is going to be. Well, if we go here, we would love to take some of these people and bring them down here to an exit. There are exits located here and here. Excuse me. The exits are so that the victims can escape the town and the danger. And we get bonuses every time we do that. That's what these little outlines are for. So let's attempt to take a walk. Final Girl is one of the only games where you have to roll for basic motor functions. Okay, and on 1 success, we can move up to 1 space, but it costs us a minute of time. So we will make that move we wanted to up here. Is this a named location? Yeah, this is the library. And there's also a clue here, but we cannot pick up that clue unless we spend a search card. So we're going to be wanting to search in our next turn, and that's why we are going into the planning phase now, where we will use time to plan what we want to do next. Well, we are going to want to pick up that token, so we're going to search. We are going to want to move out of that space, so we're going to want to sprint. These cost 2 each. So we have spent 4 of our time, and we have 2 left. So I am going to purchase these cards for 1 each. These will help me to re-roll any bad results, because the dice in this game are very often not kind. Okay, so we have performed Janelle's first turn. We have... am I going to turn 2? No. It's turn 1. I don't know if this keeps track of the phases. I think it does, but I just don't see where to do that. Anyway, these cards that we spent this turn, they're going to go back into this tableau here, and then our time is going to reset to 6. And now it's the turn of our killer, the Slayer. This indicates what they do. There's a little icon of a of a upside down house there, because the first thing this guy does is he will look for the closest victim to him, which in this case is, I think, equidistant for these two people. But let's take this one. They are pulled into the upside down, aka mirror dimension, and they are now able to be victims, because the second thing that this creature does is target me or a victim, whoever's closer, me or a victim in their dimension, and then they attack. But there's no moving, so it cannot yet attack anyone. All right. We're now missing something actually extremely important to the game, which is after the killer does the action written on that card I showed you, it needs to strike terror in the hearts of the town. And we do that with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 terror cards. We pull a new terror card each turn. And let's see. Now it's going to start moving. It came through the wall. It is going to target me or a mirror victim. It is going to move, and it was going to attack twice. So it targets that mirror victim. It moves. Its movement speed is currently 2. So it goes here and here, and then it attacks twice. There's only one person to attack. So we get our first kill of the game, which raises the bloodlust of this creature. So this character is now dead, and we get the hockey mask, indicating that the horror goes up 1. It's now the top of the action phase, and we are told by our event card that we should roll a die. We're given a d20, which is unique to this scenario only. When we get a result of 13, on a 1 to 4 it rains. So it has not yet rained. Now we take the cards for Janelle's second turn. Oh, and by the way, 1 character was killed, 1 victim. So we indicate that. And now we go to turn 2. This is what we planned to do, remember? So we're going to take this search card and we are going to discard it. And all that is going to do is allow me to pick up this token. And then it does different things on different missions, but I'm looking at the indicators here. A1. Okay. So A1 tells me, when I look at this sheet, that wherever my friend is, it's east of the river. Okay, so I have my first clue as to where I might find them. Next, we're going to work on sprinting. And we get a nice result of 1 success. And we can discard 2 cards to get another success. I don't know that I need more than 1 success. This lets me move 2 spaces at the cost of 1 time. So I'm going to move. And when I do, 2 of these victims are going to follow me. 1, 2. And then when they get to the exit there, I get them out of town. So they are now free, and I then can put them on my card. The first one allows me to lower the horror, and this other one allows me to move 1 space. So I will move into the second location here that has a clue, which is the town fair. I can still walk. I can use this card. I don't want to play these this turn, but what I could do is turn them in. I could cash them in and earn myself a little bit more time. I think I will turn in the walk card, which will bring me up 1 to 6 time, which is now what we will use for planning. These cards I initially played with cost 0, so they come back into my hand. We're going to want to take a search card so we can pick up that clue. So that costs 2. We are going to want to sprint again. That costs 2. And let's take an Open the Rift card. I don't really want to open the rift until we are going to confront the bad guy. So actually, you know what? I think I'll take a guard card. Guard card is a reaction card, which lets me protect myself if the creature tries to attack me. My hand limit is 10 cards. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have exactly 10 cards, so we're good. And now it's bad guy's turn. He is going to pull someone into the mirror dimension. This is one of the closest characters. And something I forgot to do the last time this happened that we're going to correct right now is when someone is pulled in, they panic. So we roll a die and we look at the number. And then on the board, we have numbers that help us indicate where the character goes when they panic. So they panic and they run down here, which sucks because they're very close now to the villain. We then, they attack if someone's in their space, but there isn't. So we now go to a terror card. Oh my gosh, we get the same card again. It came through the wall. It'll target, move, attack, and the horror will go up. So that's pretty self-explanatory. We know how this goes. It moves. Targets, moves, attacks, killing someone, and as a result, raising its bloodlust, which also, we're told right here, raises the horror. So the horror goes up twice. Once for this, and once for what we saw on the killer's board there. So we are back up to where we started, and that's the game in a nutshell. You're trying to make progress. Your progress is never very long lasting. Someone else has been killed, and we're moving to turn 3. Oh, but, sorry, we also saved 2 people. 1, 2. Okay. We now go, we don't actually go straight to the action phase. We go to something called the panic phase, which is when victims panic under certain conditions. We go to the upkeep phase, which is when we would do certain things if instructed to by cards and stuff like that. Oh, and I forgot something, by the way. This shows me where I am currently located. I am currently in our dimension. You can see I keep just wanting to send you to that mission card. Okay. Top of Janelle's third turn. We discard a search card so that she can take a moment to look at this clue. And the clue says C2. So we have what we were told was east of the river, and C2, let's see, says the last in alphabetical order. So we're starting to now narrow down which location they are in. They're on the east side of the river here. And we have locations beginning with G, F, and B. So we are probably going to find them here at the government lab. But I don't think we can determine that just yet. We need a third clue. Okay, next. Janelle's going to sprint. Get out of there. Let's see. I have to discard 2 cards in order to make that a success, and I only have 1 card, so that is an absolute failure. So I have to take one of these conditions. This one, the only difference between them is that this one will let me move, this one won't, but this one will end my turn. We're going to do that because there's nothing else to do anyway. But in trying to move the 1 space, I actually hurt myself. So poor Janelle gets hurt. She loses time. Oh, sorry, this was supposed to reset back up after we purchased cards. So anyway, her time goes down to 4 minutes this turn, and her turn is now over. So now, not by choice, we are forced to go into the next phase, which is a shame because we had so many more cards. In fact, I did that wrong. I was supposed to put... I used the wrong cards. I'm supposed to put these back last turn. Gameplay was not affected, but I did mess up. Let's do it right this time. We begin the round with 4 time. I can discard cards if I want to gain more time. So yeah, I am going to discard 1 card. I'm going to sacrifice one of my short rest card here to bring the time up to 5, because I want to take another search card for 2. And then for 3, I'm going to take this improvise card. Okay. And then, because it costs 0, I also get this walk card back. So we spent all of our time, which resets back to 6. And what we didn't do last turn that we should have is we take the cards that we used and we put them back where they belong in the tableau here. And now it is time for Slayer to go, but before we do, let's just really quickly make sure we don't have more cards than we should. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do. We have 1 too many, so I have to let 1 go. I will let go of one of my walk cards. All right. The killer pulls somebody into the mirror dimension. And then if there's someone in their space, they attack. They will pull this person into the mirror dimension. That person will panic. On the number 1, they go running. Actually, there is no indicator for the number 1, so they actually are gonna... They were up here. They're gonna stay put. They're going to stay put. And then one other thing we forgot to do, there's so much to track in this game, especially since different games have slightly different rules. The event card wants us to roll, and on a 1 to 4, I discard this card because it rains, and I cannot use all river crossings anymore, I suppose. All right. Now we resolve a terror card for the baddie. I feel something evil in this place. If there are more victims in our dimension than the mirror dimension, and there are, pull 2 people in and raise the bloodlust twice. That sucks. So 2 people are pulled in. 1, 2. 1, 2. They are now in the upside down. Oh, I'm sorry, the mirror dimension. And we're going to roll just to see what happens when they panic. The one on the left got a 2. The one on the right got a 5. So this one on a roll of 5 goes here. Runs down to this crossroads. And this one runs up here. Okay, now we raise the bloodlust up twice, And the bloodlust can really mess you up in this game. 1, 2. The creature is now stronger. It now moves a little faster. And it heals itself. But it hasn't been hurt. So we don't need to worry about that. We discard the terror card. And we are the top of a new action phase. Nobody was killed. Nobody was saved. So all we do on here is go to turn 4. Now, we have a ton of cards for Janelle. If we get this last clue, we can help our friend. And the only way in is this way or that way, right? That's pretty standard. Let's try improvising, though, because if this card is successful, it can affect the rest of our turn. It's very successful. So from now on, not only do 5 and 6s count as successes, but if we roll a 3 or a 4, those will count as successes as well. So let's see, do I have a walk card remaining? I don't have to go very far. So I'm thinking I can use walk instead of sprint. Improvised walk. Okay, 3s and 4s count as successes. So with these 2 successes, we move 2 spaces, but it does cost us a minute of time. So Janelle goes 1 to here, 2 to the community pool. And did we grab another search card? We did, so we are going to discard that to pick up this clue token, which says B1. So, A1, B1, C2. A1 is east of the river. B1 is in North Falconwood. C2 is last in alphabetical order. So I think this is telling me that we're in the north section, which only includes the school and the best friend's house. In that case, and we're east of the river, the school is the location where our friend can be found. So we have fulfilled that mission, and if we can get to our friend, we will be able to take their card and they will be able to accompany us throughout the game. They also come with a special mission item that could be helpful to us. Alright, that horror track went up a lot, so let's focus up a little bit, especially while we have the benefit of still improvising. Unfortunately, that is a total failure, but I will use this to spend 2 time to roll it again. This time we're given 1 success, so it costs us a minute, but we can lower the horror track. Let's see. I'm going to try doing that again because that horror track being low is so important. 3s and 4s count as successes thanks to our improvised card. So again, it costs 1 minute, but this goes down. All right. We can now, the only other card we can really functionally use is to sprint. But if we want to buy cards on our next turn, we only have 1 minute of time. So I think what I'm going to do is discard these 3 cards to gain 3 minutes of time. I now have 4 time that I can use to plan with as we leave the action phase and go into the planning phase. And with that 4 time, I get my 0 cost cards back, which is a walk and a rest. I am going to want to sprint for 2. And I guess we'll take an Open the Rift card, but like I was saying too, it's always good to have a guard card, so I'm going to take that. This villain's a little unpredictable. I don't know their terror cards that well. The more you play a scenario, the more you start to learn. Oh, clearly I am being summoned. Okay, well, as you can see, we've paused. And this is where it shows you your current phase, which is a nice way to remind you. So we were in the planning phase. We're actually now about to move into the killer phase. And to finish our planning phase, these cards need to be returned to the tableau, and our timer needs to reset. Sorry. Try to do this more quickly, because it's not very entertaining. Okay. Timer goes back up to 6. And we know what the killer does. The killer pulls somebody into the mirror dimension. And the closest one is actually 1, 2, 3. It's actually going to be one of these folks who panics with a number 6. So they go scrambling up here. Okay. Then we're going to resolve a terror card. Never-ending attacks. If there are no victims on the board, discard this, but there are. We can target, move, and attack. Target, move, and attack. Man, this thing's doing a lot of damage. Target, move, attack. Target, move, attack. Its move is 3. 1, 2, 3. I hate that it's in this space. We got to get it out of here. Okay. It killed 2. And that means it goes up once. We'll trigger a dark power. Twice, we'll trigger the horror to go up. This is the dark power card. This creature is now capable of mind control, and during every upkeep phase, mirror dimension victims will move toward him. And then we are going to raise the horror up 1. All right. So once again, it is Janelle's turn, and we're in trouble because our friend is up there and we want to get to him as quickly as we can. So we're going to need to sprint and do everything we can to get a double success so that we can move 3 spaces. I don't even know if that's enough. I haven't counted. All right, we got 1 success. 4s no longer count because we're not improvising, but we can discard 2 cards. So I will discard Short Rest and Guard. I don't know. We'll see if I regret using the Guard card. I could have done it with Walk, but I didn't want to lose the Walk card. So it costs 1 minute, but we can now move 3 spaces. So we will go 1, 2. Shit, it would be great to search here if I could. 3. All right, I'm glad that I saved that Walk card because we're going to use it now to go another space. We only need 1, so we're going to lose a time with our 1 success to move 1 space. We're now up in here. I think these other clue tokens are going to go away. We're here with a victim. We're here with our best friend. It says to revive the best friend, I need to spend like a short rest card to heal them. I don't have that. I will have it on my next turn, though. So I can't sprint out of here yet. I have to basically end my turn here and then purchase the cards I need. Well, we're going to be able to walk and... Oh, shoot, the heal card's not here. I discarded it this turn. Okay. Well, that just means we have to buy a healing card. And the only healing card here is worth 5. So we will have to have discarded something. All I had left was the sprint card for 5. So I will take a long rest card. And then that'll be it. What I just did is technically not legal. Like, I should have decided what I was going to buy before I went into the planning phase. What I did just then was realize I wanted something, and then I kind of went back to the action phase and sacrificed a card. So, shame on me. It's actually hard to not do that, especially for purposes of the streaming, because I tend to want to think ahead anyway, visually on camera, but I didn't stop and do that this time. So if I was being really hard on myself, I would have forced myself to deal with those consequences, and I did not. Okay, so during the last upkeep phase, the mind control powers should have taken effect for this guy, and those characters would move into his space. So now at the top of his turn, he will pull someone into the mirror dimension, which will be this victim. We're running out of the gray meeples. Here we go. And then kill one of the ones in their space, which they will do here. So we have another death. And Jesus. Okay, I had to step away because that is what casual dads are often called upon to do. But we were able to pause. This reminds us that we were about to go into the killer phase, or we were in it. So we're going to unpause. What's also cool about this app is that you can get the instructions for the scenario that you're in. Okay. Oh, good. Minor Dark Power, Zealous attacks. So Slayer's attack value goes up by 1 from this point forward. I'm going to put this here to remember that. They also have an additional 2 health. So we then go to the upkeep phase, and during the upkeep phase, his little zombie minions move closer to him. So there's 2 people in his space now. And top of the round, things go to Janelle. Now let me see on this mission card. I just want to see, discard any action card to revive the best friend and complete this mission. And you take a special card. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is a waste of a very expensive card because you don't actually play it, you discard it. So we're discarding Long Rest in order to wake up our best friend. Wake up, buddy. Wake up, buddy. And that means we take the best friend card. While the best friend is in my space, horror levels cannot go up for any reason, but if they're killed, it goes up 4. And if they leave play, you discard the card. So I believe I can rescue them if I choose. Okay, they also have a mission item, which is a spell book. Discard during the action phase and choose an adjacent space, and then you roll, and it can cause some hits. So we want to get into an adjacent space, do some damage to this guy. We also want to get some weapons as soon as possible. So we don't have a sprint, but we have a walk. Let's improvise first. Excellent. 3s and 4s will now count as successes. So let's focus. Focus up. That is fucking terrible. We lose 2 time. I'm glad it's not any worse than that. Wait. Oh yeah, because there's no 3s or 4s there. Let's try again. Great. These are 4s, so that counts as 2 successes. So we get our 2 time back. Sorry, you missed me bringing this down. It goes back up. This comes down. I could weak attack this guy since I'm in his space. Oh no, I'd have to open a portal to do that. So let's get out of here. Okay, 4s are successes this round because of improvise. So we are moving 2 spaces at the cost of 1 time. So come on, buddy, we're getting out of here. Let's go someplace where we can search for weapons and stuff. Let's go 1, 2 to the police station. All right. I have to remember that horror cannot go up for any reason while I got my best friend with me. Talking about my best friend. And I'm going to turn in the weak attack card to gain 1 time. And we will now go to the planning phase. Alright, as we make our plan, we get the 0 cost cards back, which is a walk and a rest. That's the rest card I wish we could have spent this turn. We're going to search for 2. Open a rift for 2. And take 2 close call cards. Alright, so that is it. We reset back up to 6. We put the cards that we purchased back. And we are now going to go to the killer phase. And we know what this fool does. He or they turn the closest victim into the mirror dimension. They kill someone, which just happened. So the bloodlust goes up again. They now move 4 spaces and attack for 4. All right, we are going to draw their terror card for this round. And wow, they move twice toward their next target. They're already in a space with a potential target, so they don't have to do this, but they do attack. So you know the drill. This dude's dead. 2 characters have just died. And bloodlust goes up. If they were hurt, they would heal. They're going to be very difficult to kill. Place the Slayer with the furthest victim in the mirror dimension. Oh man, that brings them directly to my space. Oh, and dude, and they kill that person. All right, there's nobody left in the mirror dimension, but we have another death, and therefore the bloodlust goes up again. This guy hits for 5, so, and he's going to start coming at me now that we don't have a lot of victims. So in the upkeep phase, someone from the mirror dimension moves toward him, but there is no one in the mirror dimension, so it becomes Janelle's turn. And we got to figure shit out, like, immediately. We got to find something to attack with. We really need 2 successes because the top item showing for this location is just a first aid kit, and that is not going to do any damage. So I am going to re-roll. I don't have to spend any time to re-roll 1 die, so I'm going to re-roll this. Sorry, you didn't get to see, but I had 1 success and 1 failure. Oh, good. All right, so now what we can do with 2 successes is we can take the top 2 items, praying that this is a weapon. Please. A knife. I mean, all right. Prayer answered, I guess. I keep the knife. First aid kit gets discarded. Guy's in my space, so I can't use that spell book we got last turn. But if I leave this space, I can try using it. If I successfully open a rift, that is. Okay, I have to discard 2 cards to turn this into 1 success, which causes me to lose 1 time. I haven't lost time on any of my other cards, right? That's not true. The search cost me 1 time. There we go. So we move 1 space away, bringing our buddy with us. Let's start heading toward the exit. And let's open a rift if we can. Oh, whiffed it. Go to the mirror dimension. Special victims may follow, but I get hurt. I lose 2 time. Dude. I get hurt. I lose 2 time. I go to the mirror dimension and I bring my buddy with me. If I'm in the mirror dimension during the upkeep phase, which I will be, I get hurt. I think the game's about to end. But let's see. So the rift is open. Because the rift is open, I can actually use this spell book. I choose an adjacent space, which is the space that the creature is in, and I roll a d20. And I get a frickin' 3. So it says on a 1 to 10, I do 2 damage. So I'll take it. The 2 damage is going to come from here. But they're still at basically full health. That is all I can do on my turn, and I only have 2. I discard the spell book. I only have 2 time, so I get my 0 cost cards back. Oh, wait a minute. I just remembered something. During the action phase, and yes, I am going back to the action phase because I'm still learning this freaking scenario. You can come back. Anytime during the action phase, you can actually choose to come back from the other side. So I won't get hurt. I'm going to bring us back now. And get my free cards. And spend 2 cards to... I want to protect my buddy. Well, he's going to go after the regular victims next turn. I only have 2, so I guess I'm not going to survive very long if I just sprint. But what am I going to do? I don't have cards to attack with or anything. Anyway, I'll take a sprint for 2 because I actually just don't know what else to do. I'm a little flustered. We reset the time. We put these cards back. And the killer goes. They put this person in the mirror dimension. And they attack. There's nobody in their space. We go to the terror card. The sky turned black. Panic all victims in the mirror dimension. Oh, actually, they should have panicked anyway, so we're going to panic them twice. First time is a 3, second time is a 4. So on a 3, this character goes here. On a 4, it goes here into the space with the dude. Any victims in Slayer's space or an adjacent space are killed. So, you die. Kill. And Bloodlust goes up. Because I'm with my friend, the horror track will not go up this turn. And that is the only value my best friend has shown me. Now it's the upkeep phase, so mirror dimension victims would move toward him, but there are none. So we go to what is probably going to be one of Janine's very last turns. I'm going to try to focus so that I get more dice. Oh, that hurts. I mean, it's better than a total whiff, but I discard these 2 cards to create 1 success, so that even though I lose a time, I lower the horror, which gives me a bonus die. Now I'm going to sprint. I'm going to try to save my friend. Dude, I only get 1 success. I can move 2 spaces because I don't have enough cards to discard. So it costs me a time. I move 2 spaces. And I take them to the town fair and then to the exit. So best friend exits the game. And that means I saved 1 more person. And I'm going to put this on my card to gain 1 health back. I gotta save somebody else if I want to flip this card over. So we can walk. Or we can discard this. I'm going to discard it to gain 1 time back. And now we're going to go into the planning phase. We're going to get the 0 cost cards back, which is a rest and a walk. And we are going to sprint for 2. Can I get to a search space? Oh, there's an exit here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're like 6 spaces away from searching there. To go up there is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. 4 spaces. So we got 1, 2. I'll buy a search for 2, and then a close call for 1. Maybe I should have just gotten 2 close calls, but I don't know. That's it. We were set back up to 6. These cards go back. Killer goes. And the killer turns this person into pulls them into the mirror dimension. And attacks, but there's nobody there to attack. So then, terror. Retreat, retreat. Place the killer in your space. Whoosh. Hey, buddy. Roll the die 3 times and do the following for each result. Result number 1 is a 15. Nothing happens. Result 2 is a 13. Nothing happens. Result 3 is a 6. I get attacked. And if I wasn't attacked, the bloodlust would go up. Well, I am attacked. And so clearly I should have bought a guard card on my last turn, and I didn't. So I think this is probably it for Janelle. But let's see. Sorry, taking me a second there. We don't have a guard card, right? You know what's funny? This says take a guard card. And I was like, nah, I'll heal 1 health. Well, the killer attacks for a value of 5. So I can't block it. And I don't have the special ability that the other character has, which is to defend. So I take 1, 2, 3. When I'm down to 1 adrenaline, I take an extra die. Now when I flip this over, the other remaining damage, the other, I think, point goes away. But whether I live or die depends on what's on the other side of this. We choose these at random at the beginning of the game. Janelle is dead. Sorry, Janelle. You played a good game, girl. But the Slayer is the winner of this scenario. All right, that's it. So this is a fun scenario. I had a little more. Yeah, I think I did most of the things correctly. We completed the mission. We got our hands on some items. You know, again, items make all the difference. The terror deck was not too brutal, I don't think, but I would say that the items showing were not super great. I also made a couple poor decisions, but we did the best we could with what we had. So I guess we end this and we say I lost, and we get our stats here and we end the game. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me.